Alrighty, my presentation is on Rachel Carson. She was a marine biologist, zoologist, environmentalist, and an author. So I was looking at a list of famous female scientists, and she caught my attention. A lot of them were really interesting, but she applied most to our curriculum as far as I could see. Most importantly is her work with the environment. She was born in 1907. She was really motivated by the outdoors, and so she had a really good mix of biology and writing. She did a lot of work in both regards, but all of her writing usually had to do with the environment, which is awesome. Some of her main books are Under the Sea Wind, and The Sea Around Us. But probably her most notable work that you've heard about is Silent Spring. So this had to do with the use of DDT and eventually got it banned. They were using this pesticide but hadn't really done much research on its long-term effects. The most significant story I saw was about bald eagles and how it got into the food chain, and basically their eggshells were too fragile and would crack before the chicks were born, so a lot of them died off. But since then, since the ban, they have come back from about 500 to over 100,000, so that's really great. She died in 1964, so she was pretty young. So I added a research description on here. Mostly I described what her books were about. I'm not going to sit here and read it to you though. She got some awards for the books she wrote, and so the teaching or research topics that I think would be most applicable to her and to our curriculum would be anything about the environment and pesticides, marine biology, food chain, food web, interdependence, rebuilding population as a quick story of what can happen and just dangers of that. It was honestly hard to limit this to only one page about her because I got really into it. I put some resources where I found information about her and lesson plan ideas. So most of these have to do with the food chain or food web, which we dealt with last semester. These are really good resources if I taught this. There's a really good TED Ed video on pesticides as well, and for cross-curricular, I would have students choose a topic that they were passionate about in the environment and write about it in a fictitious way. So I forgot to mention that in her book Silent Spring, it's about a fictitious city and what could happen to them in the faces of danger. I think I wrote about it up here though, sorry to skip over it. So it was basically to scare people and show them what could happen if we continue to use dangerous chemicals. So it's pretty awesome.